Most of us think compulsively all the time. That is to say, we talk to ourselves. If I talk all the time, I don't hear what anyone else has to say. If I think all the time, that is to say, if I talk to myself all the time, I don't have anything to think about except thoughts. And therefore, I'm living entirely in the world of symbols. Therefore, if you meditate for an ulterior motive, that is to say, to improve your mind, to improve your character, to be more efficient in life, you've got your eye on the future and you are not meditating. Well, meditation, when correctly done, has nothing to do with all that. It's a kind of digging the present. It's a kind of grooving with the eternal now. The place where it's at is simply here and now. If you simply close your eyes and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you, just listen to the general hum and buzz of the world as if you were listening to music. Don't try to identify the sounds you're hearing. Don't put names on them. Simply allow them to play with your eardrums. It's all just sound. And if I am talking to you right now when you're doing this, don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand everything. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, thoughts, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on, just as you would be listening to the sound of my voice, or just as you would be listening to cars going by or to birds chattering outside the window. So look at your own thoughts as just noises. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together. They are a happening. Your thoughts are a happening, just like the sounds going on outside. And everything is simply a happening, and all you're doing is watching it. It's all just sound. The place where it's at is simply here and now.
Alrighty, what is going on today, guys? Evan Aldo here. I am back. Was busy moving around, checking out new places, all that type of stuff. But right now I figured come on and talk to you guys about a few things right here. Let's just see who's in the chat, who I want to give out some shout outs to. Ivan, appreciate you, man. Hope everything's okay there. And yeah, it looks like we got a solid connection at a new place right now. So yeah, and yeah, ultimately, the big thing that we'll start with here, they say I'm not supposed to tell, you're not supposed to tell everybody what you're looking at, but the big thing that I think could be relevant here, very relevant, based on the title of this live stream, is essentially this little trigger wave right here. Now, I mean, this one brought you up. I mean, obviously this was the real big one there, but if you're looking at, kind of that one, I think you at least could kind of get up to back up to 70K, 71K most likely. Potentially you could go all the way to, 79, 78K here. I don't think this is going to be the rally up to 90K or something crazy like that. I don't think we're there yet. Yeah, if you look at when this confirmed, I mean, he's still, yeah, I mean, if you do it, yeah, there's a strong case to be made for 75K here. Well, I'll say that. There's a strong case to be made to make new all-time highs here from this. And the other thing too that's kind of funny, I know some of you guys, I don't look at this often, but oh shoot, come on. Why are we freezing up a little bit here? Hope our thing, what's up? Ice streams, damn it. Okay, better. Okay, maybe the connection's a little bad. Apologies for that. It should be a decent connection though. But ultimately, the other thing that I was looking at, I don't look at it often, but you do kind of have that full moon type of thing, which is interesting. If you look at, that trigger wave kind of around there, that one, I mean, it's kind of BS, kind of not. I mean, that was a new moon kind of, that one didn't work out. It's not always going to work out, but who knows? Maybe it's the start of a new kind of more bullish rally. Now, when we look at larger time frames here, what's important to realize when we look at larger time frames, your money flow on the weekly is coming down. Not the most bullish thing. You have a high anchor wave, not the most bullish thing. However, before you finally get that frickin', that bearish div, you may do something like this. You may form a bearish div like that, come up, have a last hurrah, potentially pre-halvening run up. I've been in the ballpark for a while that you're going to have a post-halvening kind of drop off, a sell in May, walk away, if you will. May being bearish, June being bearish, potentially July being bearish. And then I think from then on, you're going to see more bullish months into the second half of the year. July, probably second half of the year, I'd lean more bullish on. Don't take this too seriously. It's just an educated guess. But, I think May and June are probably going to be the real kind of bearish months here. You could see the more bearish things play out in April, but it looks like with the trigger wave on the daily, we starting to dodge that bullet. It looks like we got a good shot of dodging that bullet. That's the thing here. Hash rate made an all-time high. Okay, yeah, good point, Phantom. I think that's a good point. So I do think there's a good shot here coming up. When I look at crypto funding rates, I don't see anything too unhealthy. They are a little high on FAIRDESK, but they vary throughout exchanges. When I look at them, like on the analysis of all of them, I don't see anything that concerning. You know what I mean? I don't see anything too bad. So I think that's kind of the important thing to realize here. I think we got a good shot of going up forward. Trading in this environment, not going to lie, been a little challenging. But I do think there's a new trade I have in that looks pretty good, that looks like it's going to do well here. And if you guys are interested in that, link down below for that. Yeah, I believe I did get stopped out. I did get stopped out of a Bitcoin short I had. It was a decent setup. That's you just got to make those setups, and over time you're gonna, if you win depending on your risk reward ratio. If you win those majority of trades, you're going to be profitable over time. So yeah, and the trigger wave kind of, I think we're far away from the real trigger waves forming here on some of these larger, some of these middle time frames. It looked like they might have formed a little while ago, but it looks like we're dodging that bullet. On this Monday morning, it looks like we're kind of dodging that bullet. It looks like we got a good shot of, dodging that bullet and continuing forward. Didn't even quite make it to that spider line right there, which is kind of, in those more bullish environments. We're still in that uptrend, so trend is your friend. And if you look at the 4 hour, bearish on that, gray downward, but now we're getting all bright again, which is a good sign. Potentially seeing a much more, what I would guess, a much diminished, just a much severely diminished version of this run up, maybe like a fourth of this up to, and I could be wrong here, but I mean, trust me, I want it to go up to 100K as much as everybody else does, but I don't think we're going to get to those, crazy high numbers that people have talked about for years until towards the end of this year or early next year. That's just how the 4-year cycle is. It could be different this time. Maybe we'll go up to 100K. I have no idea. But I do think most likely you're going to see maybe a slightly higher high, a double top, something like that, in 80K, and then a post-halving kind of sell-off. Why do I think it's probably going to be a post-halving sell-off? I like to look at history. I think it's going to be something like 2016. A lot of this, run-up has looked a lot like 2015 into 2016. 2015 being like 2023, and 2016, being like 2024. If we do see that, you will see Bitcoin likely come down post-halving, a summer low. I think summer generally is a more boring, apathetic time in crypto to begin with, so that would make sense. That's what I'm looking at now. In terms of altcoins right now, this has been a chart that I've looked at for a while. There is, I mean, I found out about to even do this complicated, well, not that complicated, but essentially total three minus Tether versus Bitcoin, essentially altcoins versus Bitcoin, let's be real. And I found out about it from Ben Cowan. He thinks I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know he thinks we're going to, do something like this, come down farther. I beg to differ because when I look at the 2 week, I think that's bullish. Did this confirm yet? It did confirm. That looks bullish to me. I think when you look at the 4-year cycle as well, I do think you have a good shot of jumping up here. Red Heiken-Ashis on the monthly, but green Heiken-Ashis on the 2 week I think will save the day, and the weekly looks pretty good as well. I think we'll see that drop down over the summer. Maybe, who knows how that, that could be a 50% correction. We get up to 80K. That could be all the way down to 40K. I kind of don't think it's going to go down to 40K. I would more likely think high 40s to low 50s when the inception of the Bitcoin ETF came. I think you will eventually retest that area, but I think altcoins can hold up pretty well. I'm not talking about your shit tokens, your meme coins, your new ones. I'm talking about, more of your OG ones that do very well, like your Ethereum, your Matic, your Avalanche, your Cosmos to a certain extent, but that's been an underachiever as of late, especially against Ethereum. That's one that I'm having some concerns on, but luckily for me, I don't have all my eggs in one basket ever. So yeah, a few other things I like. I feel like it's a little early to get out the ApeCoin chart, but we're going to do it anyway. Ape versus ETH, I do think this is going to kind of jump up more. I do think this is going to jump up more. Yeah. Trigger wave to the upside there. So yeah. And then, yeah, money flow coming up. So, yeah. But I mean, a lot of these ETH pairs, I think, could, especially like Matic too. Matic's bled a bit more against Bitcoin, which is concerning. Some of them can bleed more against Bitcoin, but I do think you got a good shot of, bottoming out against ETH here, which, I still think that we're just in that good area for altcoin accumulation now. The question is obviously some alts, or a lot of alts for that matter, are never going to make it back to their all-time highs. The question is, are you buying the right ones? And that's, that's kind of the risk here. But you look at fundamentals and you look at that combined with the charts to answer that question. You kind of, assess your own risk tolerance there. That's what I make sure everything's okay here. Hopefully we're not buffering. Is everything good, guys? Hopefully. Okay, we got enough people. Yeah, everything seems okay. Filecoin, yeah, we'll look at Filecoin. So that's what I'm looking at right there. ETH would be the same, type of situation. If we look at the daily here, I would argue that ETH has a good shot of bouncing here and continuing to, well, I would, say changing the trajectory a little bit. It's hard to say because there's definitely a case to be made to come down farther against Bitcoin. I think, in the 4-year cycle, I think you're gonna, and we're getting close to where the Fed's going to finally pivot. It's probably going to be in June, most likely, 3 months away. So even if we do come down farther, I mean, I never say never, but I don't think you're getting much below this area right here. I think you have a good shot that you already bottomed out against Bitcoin. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Some of the time frames are concerning here, like I think the weekly, for example. Come on, that is pretty concerning. But total 3 versus, minus USDT versus Bitcoin would strengthen the argument that ETH bounces against Bitcoin here. So, look, I mean, I don't know, but I know most likely over the next year to year and a half, ETH will outperform Bitcoin significantly, most likely. So, yeah. And, oh man, what else did I? Oh, yeah, we wanted to look at Filecoin. Let's take a look here. Come on. Yeah, so coming back down to this level, I mean, look, I think it's pretty bullish on the macro. I think you're eventually gonna, you know, break upward if you kind of haven't already, and eventually get up to, you know, this type of area right here around 20, you know, $20 double, and then potentially keep going. After 20, 30, that wick would be significant. You know, that's a 2 or 3x. I don't know if you're going to make it back to your all-time high, but I think 30, you'd probably at least get a 3 or 4x here. We got a lot of work. You know, we got a lot of time on the 2 week, and this could go on for a while here. I mean, this bull run could go on for a while. It could be a slower bull run too. You know, just curious about like, yeah, that was one I was looking at. Algo ETH looks pretty good. I bought some Algo. And if you guys are interested in the Discord, you know, I post every week which ones I'm DCAing into. I'm gonna do like 3 more DCAs into pre-halving, and then I'm gonna kind of stop buying altcoins. And then if we do see a post-halving dump down quite a bit, if we do see like a Bitcoin in the 40Ks and the low 50s, again, I will probably put some more into alts, and that'll be kind of what I'll hold for, you know, a good 8 months to a year. Hopefully, you know, most of this stuff I want to put into alts to, you know, keep us at, you know, keep it in long-term capital gains, and then slowly start selling, you know, around like May, June, July of next year, I guess, you know, something like that, potentially later. Because I do think a lot of these things will be much higher in a year to year and a half than they are now. This is Mutant Ape Yacht Club on the charts. Nice double bottom here, you know, hoping that was the bottom, but you know, obviously one of my riskier plays, you know, that kind of investment, yeah. But yeah. And then kind of, yeah, right to that point. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios I think could happen in this market. I mean, right now, you know, trigger wave on ETH. I mean, if we look at the last time we had, this one was crazy. It's probably not going to be that much. Can it be like this, or, you know, that gradual trajectory upward, maybe to a double bottom, maybe a double top, excuse me, maybe even up to 4,700? I don't know. I'm kind of not seeing 4,700, but it would follow what Bitcoin did, because what was the all-time high here? Do I have enough? Come on. So let's make sure everything's going okay. Let's take magnitude eardrops for change. Interesting. Yeah. I staked my Matic. Good point. But we could look at Solana, yeah. All-time high is 4,900, so maybe you repeat kind of Bitcoin and play with all-time highs. That would be nice if you can do that pre-halvening. Will you do that pre-halvening? I don't know. It almost seems too good to be true, but I do think there's a good shot. Yeah, I do think there's a good shot. So yeah, and if we look at, let's look at Solana. I probably want to look at it on the Binance. Oh no, some of these I have more stuff drawn out for the, yeah, for that one, it's the Coinbase chart. Oh, that scared me. The backpack just fell down. Let's take a look here. You know, right to that point. That is a pretty big point right there. Now that we're kind of testing. You know, that whole area is somewhat, you know, I would argue pretty significant. If we went down like that, yeah, that point is pretty damn big. Big pocket. If you could break above there, you're toying with easily, you know, all-time highs, 250. I would imagine if ETH gets to close to its all-time high, this probably would as well. Solana on the daily looks good for continuation. It looks like a more bullish market. You know, so far it looks like we've dodged a pretty significant bullet for the millionth time, you know, for almost every time in the last kind of 2 years here, you know, since September, or that was, you know, last year, but really, you know, since the bottom, essentially. I mean, no major, like, you know, pullback, just kind of straight up, which has been nuts. So, yeah. But when we do, I mean, this is kind of the no-brainer for Solana would be, you know, that weekly bear div, wherever the hell, you know, it hits that, whether it's 250 all-time high, whether it's pretty soon where we are right now, that's probably going to be the place where, you do finally see that, you know, let's just say that was the top for, you know, 50% correction, absolutely possible. Maybe you do it at, you know, you get that 50% or when we're at, yeah, 125 or something, who knows. So yeah, very possible there. What's up, LC? What's up, Phantom OX? Did we just break 70K again? Almost. Oh yeah, okay, we might have. Wow, okay, so my ETH long is doing really well right now. So that's cool. Are we close to, I just wanted to, man, that was a quick recovery, geez. Yeah, we're almost there. And then, yeah, ETH. So obviously technical target here and then there, you know, big places. I mean, if it depends how you want to do this, you know, area, I would argue, you know, if we could hold and break above there, you know, you got a target 3,900 is big, you know, a whole pocket is big. Probably should make it up to 3,900. It looks pretty likely here. Market's been a little bipolar lately, but I mean, you know, I don't know if I should say that. Sorry if if anybody suffers from that, but yeah. But yeah, you know, let's see here, potentially coming up. Yeah, Theta is another one. You know, a lot of these do have a good shot of at least outperforming ETH and doing pretty well for next year to year and a half. I mean, bear div there, but I don't think it's that big a deal on the 4-day. Let's see, will that break 70K again today? Probably. Fetch, I think for an AI bet, an AI crypto bet, Fetch is probably one of the best ones, if not the best one. I'm not an expert on the fundamentals on it, but I think we could probably get up to a nice double, you know, up to $7 or something, you know, that technical target around 7, at least. We'll see what happens. I mean, you probably could do even crazier, like, you know, crazier technical targets and crap, like, you know, much higher up, 14. That's a really, I don't think we're going that high, but I mean, you know, probably elite, yeah, 5 and then more, so we'll see. I have a little bit of Fetch, not a lot. For an AI bet, you know, could be something. Trying to think here. Let's see. There was AVAX I want to look at because that one's done well in recent times, at least compared to most of the market. Yeah, so we got that $58 AVAX. Big point right there. Looks like we'll recover and potentially come higher. I think he probably will. 4-day a little concerning what the bear did, but your money flow is not bad, so nothing too bad yet. Like just like Solana, guys. I mean, until that weekly bear div flashes, you know, you're probably still generally bullish. So, I mean, where could we break up to? Potentially 80, but let's start with 70. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Near Protocol, too, is another one I wanted to, yeah, done pretty phenomenal. Yep, 3, oh man, because I was buying this, DCing over here. I mean, I'm way the hell up with this. Another one I wanted to look at, oh yeah, Zcash. I mean, the thing that's crazy too, I'm talking about, like, a lot of these could go 3 or 4x, and then there's like ones I just, you know what I mean, I already just started DCing into, and they already went up 3 or 4x, which is pretty wild. You know, another riskier play. I mean, Zcash looking like it potentially could keep its upward trajectory here. I think the bottom is in for NFTs as well. Yes, I'm still holding. I'm gonna hold the Mutant Ape for at least another year. This is probably stupid, but I didn't want to pick up a Bored Ape or another Mutant Ape, so I picked up a Bored Ape Kennel Club, one of the dogs. It was a nice bubble pop pattern on like the NFT floor price chart. Don't do that. It could be a stupid idea. Some people, you know, think that's the BS part of really Yuga Labs, but I don't know. You know, but yeah, I do think there's a strong case to be made. You know, if we look at, let's look at CoinGecko, you know, NFT. I mean, look, it obviously could go lower. Come on. Damn it. What is wrong with it? That's annoying. Okay. Now, if we look at Mutant Ape Yacht Club, 2.4 ETH, pretty underwhelming. I'll be real, pretty underwhelming. I mean, I bought this when it was like above 4 ETH, so I mean, that's not too happy with that so far, the ETH valuation. But when I look at whenever the hell this loads, is everything okay? Let's see. That's the thing too, Bart. I do think we will see. I mean, look, the NFT, the only sector of crypto that I really see going down like Tulip Mania could be the NFTs. At the same time, the only part of crypto that really, the part of crypto that really hasn't seen any type of bull run yet, I would argue, or at least the OG ones, is the kind of the blue chip NFTs. Now, this is the most delayed. Let's see here. Okay, that's on the daily. The 1 minute. Okay, maximum. So, I mean, you were generally just free falling. Now you're getting a jump up. So similar to that jump up over here, I thought that could have been the bottom. I also thought that probably could have been the bottom in November. One of these jumps up will be the bottom. Just a matter of when. The big point to get above, which is kind of far away actually, would be around 3.4 ETH, those lows there, mid threes. If you can hold that, that would be a good trajectory back up to, 6 ETH and then 8 ETH and then so on and so forth. Big area I would look at would be 10 ETH. Imagine this as, at 10 ETH when ETH is worth, let's say, I don't know, 7 grand. I mean, that would be 70 grand, 70 grand a pop. Can Mutant Apes go up a 10x? They're worth about, 8 grand a pop. Can it go up a 10x? I think there's a decent shot. I'm not going to say that's going to happen. It's risky, but I think there's a decent shot. I just want the 7-day generally upward. Yeah. So that's all I could really say about that. We could look at the other one I bought. I bought the Bored Ape Kennel. And I'm done buying NFTs, by the way. Trump NFTs are not, you can't buy and sell them on OpenSea, but you can buy and sell them on Rarible, and their evaluation is over $500, which I'm pretty satisfied with. Those can have a decent shot of going up as well. This is a full bubble pop pattern. We hit that half an ETH area. If it goes lower than that, that's going to be pretty concerning, and potentially going to zero. If we can hold that, and if NFTs have bottomed, then I think there's no reason to say that this can't come all the way back up to, I would say, 4 ETH. I mean, you probably could get potentially a 10x or something. I mean, maybe even more. Maybe even more. So yeah, if we look at Mog. We could look at Moog or Mog or whatever the hell. Let's see here. That looks good. I mean, there's not really enough data on this. I have no idea. I mean, it probably will. I mean, these highs, I could see it potentially going to if it becomes the next, 200%. I mean, it's not much for a shitcoin, but I could see it going there. Oops. So, yeah. Yeah, render. Yeah, I forgot to mention. Render's another one I have. Yeah, for AI. Render's a good AI play too. I mean, I think most likely Render and Fetch can do a 3 to 4x. I could see this going to 30 or 40 bucks. There's a technical target at 30. Maybe that would be the time to start DCing out. And then if it goes to 40, great. If it doesn't, you got maybe you get some of those sales there. You get some of those places there. So we got a lot ahead of us, I think, for the next year. to year and a half, and or maybe even a little bit more than that. So yeah, and hopefully, just hoping we jump up higher, which we should jump up higher right now. It's around noon on the East Coast, midnight here where I am. Some of you guys probably know where I am. So yeah. Yeah, there's always going to CME gap. I'm not into CME gaps. I mean, where is it though? What place? What price is it at? Yeah, 70K is turning into a little. I mean, what are we down from all-time high right now? 5%. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we hit that low right there. Yeah, so she's still got it. I think traditional markets, I just want to look at, let's look at traditional markets a little bit here. I guess that's good for Trump. Still a hefty sum of money though. Oh, European market. U.S. markets. So we're down slightly. Yeah, I mean, another thing too, I mean, a few of them, you guys know I've thought PayPal, is in a time-based capitulation. I think this will see a nice run up at some point. It could take time. I think it's going to happen sooner or later, sooner rather than later though, like, within the next 6 months. And you probably could get back over 100 at some point. So yeah. Curious about NVIDIA. I think that's still generally going, that uptrend. Yeah, I mean, that 2-week, I mean, this is just a FIs. I mean, $1,000, anybody? Is that it? I don't know. I would expect some consolidation here and then maybe eventually getting a weekly bear div and then, seeing some type of correction, but we'll see. What was the other? The one that's really lagged behind as of late, I think, well, a lot has been Apple. This could be a good buy because you're kind of seeing that higher low here. And there's probably something bullish that we could find on like our 3-day or something if it loads. Hopefully it will. Yeah, that's not even, that jump, and then that doesn't even look too good. That area right there. Bull div, yeah, so short term, decent shot potentially. I don't know, traditional markets don't excite me too much as of late. But TLT, the thing with interest rates, which is, always pretty relevant to talk about, especially when we're so close to when the Fed will likely pivot, which is probably going to be in June, like I mentioned, unless something significant happens, is here. I mean, blood diamond, but follow the money. Money flow is kind of coming upward. Getting that green Heikin-Ashi candle, trigger wave. I do think the TLT will generally continue forward. That was a nice high in December there. Yeah, I do think that will continue forward. I want to look at kind of somewhat of the inverse of it, obviously, the 30-year. That's what looks a little bit more like you could come up, but I do think those trigger waves will form and kind of bring you down. I mean, you could have a double top, who knows? But I think interest rates have kind of topped out. I mean, I think that's all. That's all those regional banks could take. You know what I mean? That's probably going to kind of happen there. I mean, trigger wave to the downside, reverse head and shoulders. I think you're probably going to come down with this, and I think that TLT is going to come up, and we'll see probably two, like Powell said, what was it, two or three rate cuts this year. You'll see, I mean, 2 or 3 rate cuts would likely bring this down to around, if it's 3, that's going to be somewhere, a good kind of almost point down. So, I mean, 30-year mortgage rates, what are they at? Like low 7s. They'll be at low 6s by the end of the year, I would say, and then probably somewhere in the 5s. You'll probably be somewhere in the 5s for a while, like for years to come, probably in 2025. So, yeah. Wrong one. Let's see here. What's up, AV? Yeah, I mean, well, it's like such a stupid, oh no, full moon top, you mean new moon topping? Yeah, I'm still on the trip. What's up, Flopping Girlfriend? How's it going? Yeah, I am in, let's see. Oh, you guys could probably, if you saw my Instagram, you'd know where I am. You'd know where I am. I'm in a really good city. Like this city that I'm in right now is, it's really modern. A lot of great things. This is like probably the best, I would say the best bang for your buck city in the entire world. Like in terms of what your money gets you and in terms of like living conditions and, quality of life. It's a really, in safety, like it's a really great city for like really, really, really reasonable. Like, and if I were to invest in real estate, like internationally, it would be in this city because like I feel like the price for the quality of life you get here, like the prices are not going to stay this low forever. Like it's a steal, I would say. Like there are not many negatives to being in like nice climate. Well, I mean, some would argue too hot and humid, but I mean, let's be real. You're in Southeast Asia. But I mean, this is, yeah, I'll tell you, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I mean, it's a good place. It's a really good place, very modern, a lot of great people. Food is good, and extremely reasonable. Like if you could, like this would be, I would say this is like, I mean, people would argue it's probably a more boring city. There's not as much nightlife, that's not what I'm here for, but but other than that, like a good bang for your buck place to live, to go, like this is a good place. Yeah. Yeah, mice. I mean, yeah, that's Penn Cowan thinks that's not, I don't, that's just what the odds are, kind of. I mean, June is most likely, and then yeah, September would make sense, and then maybe one more in December or November or something. So yeah. But yeah, shout out to Flop and Groper. I hope you're still doing those push-ups. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay, we dipped into that. I do think you will see those high 40s to low 50s at some point here. I do think you will see that. Yeah, and I'll be on this trip for at least another week. We'll see what happens. Getting to like the later stages of it, but it's been a nice, when you go to Asia, you got to go at least a month, I feel like. So maybe this might be the last place I hit. There might be one more place after, depending on my mood. So yeah, it's taking it one day at a time. But yeah. Money flow coming up. Yeah, I mean, look, like I mentioned earlier, good. Most likely, it's been a little tricky lately. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, most likely, I think you got another shot up to these points. Hopefully, we get up to that 76 or that 79. Hopefully, ETH gets up to all-time highs as well. That would be, like, you'd really, if you could see that, like, that's gonna be a nice 30% jump pre-halving. That would be juicy. That'd be juicy. And I mean, when I look at, I just want to look at crypto funding rates for a minute here. And oh shoot, now everybody's going long. Damn it. No, forget what I said, we're dumping. Forget everything. Nah, but these were, geez, they usually don't change that quick. Everybody fucking opened a long, damn it. Now we're coming down. I don't know. I mean, it was a lot healthier looking before. Now they're high as hell again, so we'll see. That wouldn't be the, I mean, that doesn't scare me away because we've seen funding fees that high for a while, but yeah. I mean, this would go as a really tough market to navigate. Like if we do nuke here, like this would be like that would go as like a really freaking hard to read angry market. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But a lot could happen in 7 hours, so we'll definitely have to see here. So yeah. Yeah. Am I going to Singapore? I might. It is close to where I am right now. I definitely might. I don't know. I don't know if I really have too much of an interest in going to Singapore. I feel like it's just more, big city vibes or whatever, but I might. I probably should because it's so close. But yeah. Probably could take a bus there, I think. Yeah. So I think it's a 3 or 4 hour drive. Was I gonna? Yeah, I mean, not too much else to really say right now, guys. I want to look at Bitcoin dominance a little bit. I mean, this is obviously okay, that's a little bit more bearish. Bear div on the 2-week. I mean, money flow is still okay. I don't know. This is kind of in between. Like, that's kind of a neutral time frame. I would argue most other time frames are more bearish, though. Signifying a good altcoin season kind of coming. Like, that's more bearish on the weekly. And, but then it's probably a trigger wave on the, then you get to the more bullish case. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I do think it can come up higher potentially over the next few months. It probably will top out. I mean, if history, let's see, that was the top there. Yeah, it'll top out by early next year. Will it go that much higher than the high so far? I mean, if it's like this, you may go up to like 57. So yeah. Upward. Well, looks like we're still coming up, right? Lower time frames. Yep. So we'll see. Oh yeah, the full moon thing. Yeah, I mean, that's typically more bullish. That would likely keep us bullish, for. And if we got a flash cross, how low? A TIA, I don't know. Could look at that. I mean, that's a new one, right? Yeah. I don't know how low this could go, but that wick is big, around 9 something. Then after that 5. I mean, you're buying the dip right here. I'm not saying that's the bottom, but you're buying the dip if you're getting in right now. And that bull div, probably not a terrible place to get in. I was getting this confused with Dow, TAO. There's all these new ones. That looks decent though. I don't know what TIA does, but it doesn't look that terrible. So yeah. What about Caspa? That's a big point right there. Let's take a look. Bear div. Trigger wave right there. Looks like continuation. I mean, if we do follow, you know, jump up, I could see some continuation here potentially. So yeah, a Doge. 8 back to 18. Yes, we're seeing something. You know, we're seeing something happen. Big area if we could hold that. You know, more continuation. Took its time, but we're following that 4-year cycle. What are some other ones that have looked decent? ICP, I think it'll continue upward. I mean, at this point, it's kind of getting redundant. I mean, we talked about most of what there is to say. Tesla man. Didn't this used to be Honda man? Red Moon Lunar Eclipse, yeah. Go down the whole rat hole, yeah. Don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it right here. If you guys are interested in the Discord, check out the link down below. If you guys want 1 free month in the Discord, where I post a lot of trade setups and entry points and all that. If you sign up to any of the links down below for the exchanges, FAIRDESK, you know, MEXC, I will deposit at least $100 and then open a support ticket in the Discord with your UID. That will get you sorted with 1 month free in there. So check it out. I think it's a really good offer if you guys are interested. So yeah, really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good one. Subscribe, like the video. Goodbye.